There's a kind of silence in Hollywood that says more than shouting ever could. Sam Elliot, the gravel-voiced cowboy with a gaze that could cut through dust, has spent over half a century avoiding drama. He's not flashy, he doesn't gossip, he doesn't name names. But at 80, Sam's letting slip a few truths that Hollywood won't soon forget. He's not writing a memoir, he's not ranting on social media, but through rare interviews and quiet remarks, one thing is now very clear: there are 6 actors Sam Elliot never wants to work with again. These aren't unknowns, they're big names. A few are beloved, some are decorated. But none of that matters to Sam, because to him, acting is sacred. It's about grit, humility, respect. And when someone breaks that code on set, on screen, or in the way they carry themselves, Sam doesn't stay silent. So what happened? What did these actors do to earn a place on Sam's private blacklist? It's not always explosive. There were no screaming matches, no flying drinks or bitter lawsuits. But what did unfold were icy silences, quiet distance, and sometimes cutting words that struck deeper than any script. Some of these stories involve clashing visions of the West. Others deal with ego, inexperience, or outright disrespect. One name on this list: once a close friend. Another, a rising star who, to Sam, just didn't get it. But this isn't about petty grudges, this is about legacy. A man who built his name on quiet strength and demands the same from those he works beside. So let's begin. These are the 6 actors Sam Elliot refuses to work with, and the raw, unfiltered reasons why. When Sam Elliot draws a line, it's not in the sand, it's carved in stone. Hollywood thrives on drama, but rarely does it erupt from the voice of Sam Elliot. This isn't a man known for outbursts. He doesn't chase controversy. His words are usually slow, deliberate, and coated in the kind of old-school wisdom you can't fake. But in 2022, something shifted. While appearing on Mark Moran's WTF podcast, Sam did what few expected. He slammed the power of the Dogandit's director, Jane Campion. There are all these guys running around in chaps and no shirts, he grumbled, and all these damn hints at homosexuality through the whole damn movie. His voice didn't raise, but the weight of his criticism hit hard. The film, praised by critics for its nuanced portrayal of masculinity and repression in 1920s Montana, had received international acclaim. For many, it was a masterclass in psychological storytelling. But for Sam, it was fiction without soul. He didn't stop at the plot. He went further, questioning Jane Campion's right to direct it at all. I mean, what the hell does this woman, she's from New Zealand, know about the American West? To some, it sounded sexist. To others, territorial. But to Sam, it was personal. He spent a lifetime immersed in the mythology and reality of the West. He's worn the boots, breathed the dust, learned its silences. For him, the West isn't a film set, it's sacred ground. Campion's version, he felt, was an outsider's lens, beautifully shot, yes, but hollow, and Campion. She didn't let it slide. At the Directors Guild Awards, she responded with a smirk and a jab. He's not a cowboy, he's an actor. Then, she made it philosophical. The West is a mythic space, she said. There's a lot of room on the range, but the heart of her argument cut deeper. I think there's a little sexism in what he said, she told Variety. No one questions Sergio Leone's westerns even, though he shot them in Spain. But when it's me, a woman from New Zealand, suddenly, I don't belong. The debate wasn't just about a movie. It was about authenticity, about gatekeeping, about who owns a story and who's allowed to tell it. To Campion, Sam represented an outdated ideal, one that feared change, feared new voices. But to Sam, Campion was an artist painting over a world she hadn't walked in. This wasn't a Hollywood spat. It was a clash of worlds, of values, of identity, and it left a mark. To this day, Sam hasn't softened his stance. Campion remains one of the few directors he's publicly criticized, and while she continues to earn accolades, Sam stands by what he said. Because for him, the West isn't just history, it's heritage. And he's not letting go of it that easily. If Jane Campion drew Sam Elliott's fire for directing The Power of the Dog, then Benedict Cumberbatch was the face of everything Sam felt had gone wrong with it. To most viewers, Cumberbatch's performance was haunting, fragile, and Oscar-worthy. He played Phil Burbank, a brilliant but bitter rancher hiding pain behind cruelty, a portrait of repressed masculinity wrapped in elegance and slow-burning tension. But to Sam Elliot, it was theater, not truth. What the hell does this Brit know about the American West? He asked, not in a rage, but with that gravelly certainty that doesn't ask for a rebuttal. It wasn't just the accent, though Sam had plenty to say about that too. It was the posture, the gestures, the way Cumberbatch moved through the dust, like he was performing in the West, not of it. To Sam, acting isn't mimicry, it's embodiment. You don't play a cowboy, you carry one. And from where he stood, Benedict hadn't carried anything but a carefully designed performance. Cumberbatch, trained in elite London schools, is a master of presence and complexity. But Sam wasn't looking for polish. He wanted dirt under the nails, grit in the bones, silence that speaks louder than words. He didn't hate Benedict, he just didn't believe him. Sam felt the performance was stylized, intellectualized, and hollow. To him, a cowboy doesn't show you his scars, he lives them quietly. Critics praised the vulnerability Cumberbatch brought to the role. Sam called it a distortion, a modern reinterpretation of a tradition that doesn't need rewriting. In Hollywood, it split right down the middle. Some called Sam outdated, a relic of a grittier, less inclusive time. Others said he was defending something rare: integrity in an industry, chasing reinvention at any cost. Cumberbatch never responded. No interviews, no jabs, just awards, applause, and silence. But for Sam, the silence said enough. This wasn't about ego, it was about craft. And Cumberbatch's performance, however, moving to others, didn't feel like the real West. It felt like a version created in a rehearsal room far away from where Sam had come of age, riding horses, watching dust storms roll across the plains, and listening to the way tough men talk without ever raising their voices. He didn't slam the door on Cumberbatch, but he didn't open it either, because in Sam Elliott's world, the West isn't a metaphor. It's a place, a test, a code. And if you haven't lived it, he can tell. Few actors have become as closely associated with modern westerns as Kevin Costner. Dances with Wolves, Open Range, Wyatt Earp, and more recently, the massively successful series Yellowstone. Costner is practically royalty in the genre. To the public, he's a natural fit, rugged, steely-eyed, and always at home on horseback. But to Sam Elliott, it's a performance. One he just can't buy. This wasn't a loud feud. No tabloid headlines, no viral interviews. It was quieterly so. But the distance between Sam and Costner spoke volumes. Sam Elliott never publicly slammed Costner, but those close to him knew his stance. He plays a rancher like it's Halloween, Sam reportedly told a colleague. That wasn't sarcasm, it was sadness. Disappointment. To Sam, Costner's cowboy was all posture. Clean boots, scripted squints, perfectly lit heroism. But the West, Sam knew. It wasn't photogenic. It was hard, painful, and often silent. Sam didn't learn the cowboy life from scripts. He lived it. He worked real ranches, rode in real saddles. His connection to the West came from blistered hands and weather-beaten mornings. And to him, that legacy deserves more than Hollywood. Polish Costner may have had the look, but for Sam, he lacked the soul. And Yellowstone, to Sam, it was the worst offender. It wasn't just dramatized, it was commodified. The land, the code, the silence turned into a binge-worthy spectacle. When Yellowstone's producers invited Sam to make a cameo, an offer meant to bridge generations, he declined. He declined. Politely, firmly, completely. Not because he disliked Costner. Not because of ego, because of principle. Sam didn't want his presence to validate something he believed distorted the truth. To him, Yellowstone was wearing the costume, but missing the meaning. While millions of fans praised the show's authenticity, Sam watched from a distance, unmoved, and when asked about it in interviews, he didn't rant. He didn't sneer. He just shrugged, as if to say, that's not the West. I know. Award shows only made the tension more visible. When the two men were in the same room, the air felt colder. There were no smiles, no eye contact. Just the kind of silence that says more than words ever could. He's acting like a cowboy, Sam once said, almost to himself. But some of us didn't need a script. To most fans, that might sound harsh. But to Sam, it's about protecting something sacred. The cowboy isn't a brand. It isn't a role to try on and take off. It's a responsibility, a life, a memory carried forward. For Costner, the cowboy may be a character, but for Elliott, it's who he's always been. Sometimes, conflict isn't about shouting, it's about silence. And with Ashton Kutcher, Sam Elliott said very little, but what he didn't say spoke volumes. In 2016, Netflix launched The Ranch, a sitcom drama hybrid set in Colorado ranch country. Sam Elliott played Bo Boneta Hardened, emotionally distant father. Kutcher played Colt, his reckless, goofy son, trying to return home and redeem himself. On paper, it was perfect. Old school grit meets modern charm. But on set, it was something else. Sam Elliott built his name on slow-burn performances and unwavering authenticity. He didn't become a legend by going viral or collecting sponsorship deals. He earned respect the old way, by disappearing into roles, honoring the script, and letting silence do the heavy lifting. Kutcher came from a different world. He was a product of early 2000s stardom, beloved, bankable, endlessly charismatic, a rom-com regular, a tech investor, a man who turned fame into a brand. Too many, that's success. To Sam, it was a shortcut. He's a good kid, Sam reportedly told a colleague, but he's not a real actor. There was no public feud, no scandal, just distance. Colleagues described the vibe on set as polite, but cold. Sam arrived early, hit his marks, and vanished between takes. He wasn't rude, just distant, controlled. For Sam, Kutcher wasn't offensive, just symbolic of everything he felt Hollywood had become: fast, polished, marketable, but not grounded, not real. And yet, the irony. It worked. Their on-screen chemistry had bite. Kutcher's playful energy clashed beautifully with Sam's stone-faced delivery. Fans loved the show. Some even called it one of Kutcher's best performances. But when the cameras stopped rolling, Sam's opinion didn't change. Because acting, in his eyes, isn't just about performance, it's about lived experience. Emotional weight, internal scars that shape the role from the inside out. 2. Sam. Ashton Kutcher was acting like someone who understood pain. But Sam knew what it looked like when someone had truly lived it, and in Kutcher, he just didn't see it. If Sam Elliott is the storm on the horizon, low, rumbling, deliberate, then Nicolas Cage is the lightning bolt. Flashy, wild, unpredictable. They're both icons, but their styles couldn't be more different. And when they collided on the set of Ghost Rider in 2007, their creative tension didn't explode, it simmered. On screen, Sam played the grizzled mentor, the keeper of ghostly secrets. Cage played the lead Johnny Blaze, the cursed motorcycle stuntman turned supernatural vigilante. But behind the camera, their connection was icy. Sam Elliott never lashed out at Cage in interviews. He never named names. But over the years, he's hinted at a certain kind of actor, one who hijacks scenes or turns movies into a circus. And those close to Sam knew exactly who he meant. He's more firework than flame, Sam reportedly told a friend. Big bang, no heat. For Sam, acting isn't about volume or spectacle. It's about stillness. Earned emotion, holding back more than you release. Cage thrives on chaos. That's his brand. Whether it's Leaving Las Vegas or Face Off, his signature is wild-eyed intensity, unpredictable energy, and explosive emotion. Too many, he's brilliant. To Sam, he's exhausting. Their time on Ghost Rider was civil, professional, but distant. No off-camera bonding, no trust. Just a sense that they were acting in two entirely different films. Sam didn't dislike Cage. As a man, he disliked what Cage's approach represented. Sensation over substance. Acting is spectacle, not craft. Sam has said, the best performances don't beg for attention. They earn your trust. To him, Cage's work felt like a shout in a quiet room. Sam believes the power of a scene lives in subtlety. In restraint. In the pause between words. Cage, by contrast, pours everything out. He lights a fuse and hopes the explosion is enough. Both methods can move audiences, but for Sam, only one honors the soul of storytelling. So when the movie wrapped, they nodded, shook hands, and left it at that. No feud, no reunion. Just two men who stood on the same set but never saw the same scene. Some names don't spark anger, they spark something quieter. Sadness. For Sam Elliott, that name is Jeff Bridges. The two men weren't just colleagues. They shared a kind of brotherhood in Hollywood. Both old school, both grounded. Both respected the craft. More than the spotlight, when they co-starred in The Big Lebowski, their chemistry wasn't just written. It was real. They talked about family, silence, integrity. They shared scenes and also a code. Do the work well, then disappear. No fuss, no vanity. For years, they moved in the same orbit. Not best friends, but bonded by mutual respect. Then came Crazy Heart. Bridges' portrayal of a washed-up country singer wasn't just award-winning, it was transcendent, raw, tender, unforgettable. He won the Oscar. And Sam clapped the hardest. But something shifted. Suddenly, Bridges wasn't just the dude. He was everywhere. Magazine covers, designer suits, award speeches with political commentary. The humble cowboy now carried himself with a brighter spotlight and louder voice. To the world, it was growth. To Sam, it was a quiet betrayal. He'd spent his whole life avoiding that kind of spotlight. Staying small, staying grounded. But now, his quiet brother-in-arms was leaning into it. And the more the world embraced this new version of Bridges, the more Sam pulled away. There was no argument, no betrayal, just silence. Fewer calls, less eye contact, fewer invitations to the kinds of quiet dinners they once valued. When asked in an interview which co-stars he admired most, Sam mentioned a few names, but not Jeff. Pressed further, he paused and said only this: some folks change. Others just show who they always were. It wasn't a shot, it was grief, disguised as indifference. To some, it sounds bitter. But those who know Sam heard something else: disappointment, hurt, that deep ache you feel when someone you trusted drifts toward a life you never expected. He never criticized. Jeff never called him out. But the calls stopped. The friendship faded. Because in Sam's world, some distances aren't measured in miles. They're measured in silence. And the silence between him and Jeff Bridges, it never really ended. 6 names, 6 stories, and one cowboy who never chased the spotlight but wasn't afraid to speak his truth when it mattered. For Sam Elliott, acting has never been about fame. It's been about grit, honesty, and respect for the world he's carried in his bones for over 50 years. A world built on silence, strength, and something too rare in today's industry: dignity. This isn't a hit list. It's not a tabloid punchline. It's a reflection of how deeply Sam values authenticity, and how quickly that respect can vanish when someone violates that code. Some of these actors never knew the line they crossed. Others felt the tension the moment the cameras stopped. rolling, but in the end, Sam's message is simple. Being great on screen isn't enough. You have to be real, you have to mean it. And if you don't, Sam won't raise his voice. He won't write a rant. He'll just do what cowboys do best, right away, quietly, for good. If you found these stories as powerful as we did, drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications, because we've got more untold Hollywood truths coming soon.